now. We've got quite a bit going on along the west coast, a large low pressure system, some high pressures causing some changes over the next few days. But first, right off the bat, I want to talk about what's going on just off the east coast because we've got twin hurricanes going on. So what's actually going on with those systems? So these two hurricanes, Humberto and Imelda, are causing something called the Fujiwara effect. They're basically dancing around each other, causing some pretty significant changes to the east coast. Lots of scattered showers, but the trick with how these systems are moving is they're going to turn right offshore, and thankfully that's going to be causing some much better conditions for what we could have seen on the east coast. So very much active out there. Thankfully we don't really have anything to do with that. We've got our own changes going on in the forecast. The biggest one for the west coast though is this big low pressure system, actually centered well up to the north of us, coming off the Aleutian Islands, so coming off of Alaska, now making its way down into British Columbia. That's where that main low pressure is, but it's actually causing rain for much of the Pacific Northwest, as well as portions of Northern California. Rain falling already today as far south as into San Francisco, but then it kind of falls apart as that tail end of the low pressure makes its way through the region. That's still going to be pushing our way. It'll change our forecast a little bit, mainly just some cloud cover for us here on the central coast, but that's a few days out. Right now we're seeing great conditions. Here's what it's looking like outside right now in Avila Beach. A little bit of cloud cover you can see on the edge of this image, but honestly great conditions. Not a lot of people on those beaches though. We do have a beach hazard statement in effect right now. Other than that though, things are looking pretty good. Cooler than normal though, especially for those interiors. Typically in the mid to upper 80s this time of the year. 73 right now in Paso Robles with lots of sunshine. 73 as well in San Luis Obispo, Santa Maria and Lompoc. 73 in Santa Barbara as well. Not that much of a microclimate today. Very much consistent across the region. A little bit warmer in San Ynez at 79. Much cooler along those beaches at 57 up there in Cambria. So lots going on a little bit farther away, but it's still impacting us with those winds turning onshore, bringing us that more consistent air across the region. About 23 miles an hour along our south coast for those winds. That's just the start of a bit of a sundowner event that we've got going on tonight. I don't expect any alerts to be issued, but still, if you're driving on 101, especially near Las Cruces and the Gaviota area, it's going to be a little bit gusty there. About 22 miles an hour in Paso Robles, 18 in San Ynez, 16 in Santa Barbara. On the whole, not a huge issue. We do have a beach hazard statement mainly for some rip currents, so if you're on those beaches, just be cautious of those rip currents. There is that risk. Now, over the next few days, we're going to watch this low pressure system make its way down towards us, but we've got this lingering high which is going to kind of redirect that. So before it actually reaches us, we're going to be seeing that kind of calm down. That does mean some winds are expected, especially Thursday into Friday. We've got another small system headed our way. That's going to be Friday into Saturday. A slight low pressure headed in there, but honestly staying pretty nice all the way through the extended forecast. Tomorrow for your Wednesday, 81 degrees in Paso Robles, 73 in San Luis Obispo, 72 for Santa Maria and Santa Barbara. Lompoc at 71 degrees tomorrow. Here's that 7-day forecast. We're still in the 80s for the next couple of days through Thursday, then a slight cooling trend on Friday, gusty for the entirety of the central coast. A beautiful weekend is on the way. Then as we head into Monday and Tuesday of next week, cooler conditions are expected. Now that's going to be in place for all of our communities, a little bit more pronounced in those interiors, but on the whole, we've got great conditions all the way through the beginning of next week.